Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm doing a review of episode 1 of A Tale of a Thousand Stars. Now, I've been excited for this show since it was announced, I want to say in 2018. It seemed like it was announced then. And I've been waiting for the show to drop because Earth's in it, he's one of my faves, and also White is in it as well. And I've just been waiting on it, and they finally dropped it today, and I'm excited. Normally I would have done a a reaction to it, but I decided to go with this review type format. So if you guys haven't seen the show, spoiler warning, it's in effect right now. I'm gonna go through the what happened in this episode and give my thoughts and opinions on everything. So if you guys want to see more videos like this, please go ahead and just give this video a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel, and also subscribe if you haven't done so already. And yeah, let's get right into it. So the episode, it starts off with this disembodied voice saying that we die, but we get like reincarnated, or we get reborn again. But why do we still take life for granted? Now I'm paraphrasing exactly what it says, but this is basically what they said. Why do we take life for granted, even though life's not a game? And that kind of really set the tone for the show. Basically, that is basically the premise, to not take life for granted and live it to its fullest, because you never know what's going to happen, and it's not a game. Some people take it seriously, some people take it for granted, and that is really something that the characters, well, the main character really seems to want to not struggle with, but kind of want to get enlightened by, which that's what I think anyways. So we get introduced to Tienna, I think that's how you pronounce his name, and he is gambling. He's at a casino with his friends. They're having a good time, having a kiki, and he is winning against whoever that is he's gambling against. But when he's starts to leave, homeboy's like, yo, bet your watch, I'll bet mine. And his friends are like, nah, don't do it. And he is like, well, when I die, I'm gonna die, I can't take this with me. And they're like, excuse me? He's like, I'm just playing, but like, it's not that serious. I can bet this watch, it's gonna be fine. So he does. Then we cut to Torfan, I think that's how you pronounce her name, and she is on the bus, and she gets a call from her aunt, who is asking where she's at, what she's doing, what's going on. And she says, well, the bus was late, so I'm arriving late. And then her aunt drags her, saying that she needs to get a job that's closer to the house, that she needs to send them more money. And she was like, I send you money. And the aunt's like, you think that's enough money? And she says, is it money for rent, necessities, or is for your gambling? Which I'm like, oh, she really got her together with that. And then her aunt starts going in on her as well, and they keep going back and forth about this money thing and what she should be doing. And she's like, I'm gonna let you know when I get there, leave me alone, bye, click. And then we cut back to the gambling for the watch, but we also spliced in some scenes where there's a war going on or something in the forest, and it was getting intense. And it's like it goes go back and forth between the gambling and the war. I'm like, what is happening? What is this war? Because they have guns and stuff. They shooting everything up in there, and I'm scared. At the end, Tien ends up losing his watch, and he says that they should take their game to the road. So I'm thinking like a drag race type of thing. Too Fast, Too Furious, which I'm like, I don't know if it's a good idea to be racing in these streets, but that's what he decided to do. But as he is leaving the casino, he faints. And then we go back to the war scene where someone's getting interrogated brutally with the gun hitting the face, and he's like, where's your boss? And at this point, we still don't know what is happening. We're like, well, I'm like, excuse me, this is brutal. Then we cut to Torfan. She is off the bus now, and she's looking at a photo of what I would assume is her boo thing in her little journal. But then the photo she has is a physical print. It gets blown into the street, so she goes to get it. But unfortunately, because of that, she gets hit by a car. Now, I just wish she wouldn't just run into the street like that. And like, oh my gosh, poor girl. Because that scene. Next, we see Tienna in the hospital. He's being rushed there. His parents are there. The mom is crying hysterically. She is going through it. The dad's looking concerned. It was a lot going on. It looks very sad because the mom was really going through it. Eventually, the doctor comes out and tells him that since he has this chronic inflammation in his heart, he needs to get a transplant, which the mom goes hysterical again. She's saying, take my heart. It's my son. Just take my heart. I will give him my heart so he can live. And the nurse says, oh, we have a donor, so come through, do the surgery. So the doctor goes through and does the surgery. During the surgery, Tien has this dream where we see him and Torfan together, and she tells him to take care of her heart. And he's like, who are you? He didn't say that, but his face was like, he was confused. And then he turns around and he sees the boo thing, the boyfriend from the photo that she was trying to retrieve right behind him. So he eventually wakes up and his mom and dad is there and they're trying to, comfort him and whatnot. They go out and get him something, I believe. I forgot if that's the reason why they left. But they left the room. He's talking to the nurse and he's asking her, who heart does he have? Is it a woman? She's like, I don't know, but I can take you outside to get some fresh air. So they do that. Next, we go to Torfan's memorial service where the boyfriend is attending. And then we get a flashback from, I guess, when they first met or when they knew each other. And we get to see where the photo came from. She's the one who took the photo of said boyfriend, which is why she has it. After the flashback, we find out his name is Pufa, but they call him Chief Pooh, and he's, very sad because, his girlfriend just passed away, and his friends try to comfort him and whatnot. And that scene was very it was so sad, like seeing scenes like that where, people are like blaming themselves and need their friends to comfort them. And I'm glad his friends were there, but it sucks that he kind of blames himself for this happening to her. Next, we jump 5 months later. We see Tienna doing some physical therapy. He has a doctor there checking up on him. She lets him know about the meds he needs to take and letting his mom know and everything. We get a glimpse of how his kind of life is. His house seems to be very big and like he has doctors on call apparently to come to the house to, help him out. And as he's like walking to, I guess, go back to his room, he kind of sees Torfan's reflection as his, and he's kind of like tripping out. But he gets on the phone with his homeboy, and he's like, I'm so glad to hear from you. It's been a minute. He's like, yeah, you can't kill me. Yeah, I'm still here. And then we jump to him going to the club. There we see the friends we saw in the beginning at the casino. They're just trying to catch up with him and seeing what's going on with him. But then once they start asking him about the heart, he gets kind of like shook and kind of like dazes out. And kind of goes into a trance almost, and then he ends up leaving because I guess he's uncomfortable or going through something. But once he gets home, his parents start chastising him about going out. The mom says she smells cigarettes on him and he shouldn't be going out. He didn't pick up his phone call when she was calling him and he shouldn't be doing all that. And dad gets him together too. He's like, no, you can't be doing all that. You need to stay in the house until you recover, all that good stuff. And he asks them, whose heart do I have? Who's a donor? They tell him don't worry about that. And he's like, all right, bet. So he leaves. But then, not plot twist, but he ends up going to the father's study to get the information because he saw that the doctors at the hospital gave his dad the information on who the donor is. So he gets the information and he goes researching who this is. And then the next day, him and his homeboy, Tool, go to the address of the donor. There we meet the aunt that Torfan was arguing with. She is not a nice lady. She's like, who are you? And he was like, oh, I'm her ex-boyfriend. I just need to get something. She's like, fine, get her stuff because she didn't leave me no money. She didn't do this. She didn't do it. She was just dragging this girl. This poor girl who is now deceased. Still dragging her. I don't know about that. That was a lot. I didn't really care for her aunt. What's her name? Nim, I think her name was. Anyways. So he's going through her stuff, trying to find something to kind of help him understand who is he dreaming about. He gets her journal that says A Tale of 1,000 Stars. So he takes that with him. In the journal, there's not a dog tag, like a tag that says she's a teacher, a voluntary teacher at this like camp thing. And we cut to him at this function with his parents, which they are happy that he's attending, I guess, because he's been kind of reclusive or been, in the house recovering. So they're happy. And there he meets, he doesn't meet, but he passes by the Chief Pooh. And he gets shook because he feels the presence of him is like familiar. Now, I'm not sure if the Chief was actually there because he seems to disappear right after that. So I don't know if it was like an imagining thing or what, but it seemed like he might have been actually there. Some stuff happened at the function. He gets in a fight. He gets upset. Tien leaves. You can tell he's kind of a brat and spoiled at this point, but also he's going through some inner demons he has right now because, the heart thing. He goes home. He reads her journal. And kind of we get flashbacks of her life as a teacher, but it also has parallels to his life as a party boy, playboy in the city. She's working hard, teaching kids, and he's out, getting his life at the club. And I like the parallels between the two, her being, I guess, selfless and him being selfish in a way, but I don't know. I saw that tweet from Jordy. He mentioned that. I kind of agree, but I kind of want to not say he's being selfish because he hasn't done anything that we know of that was selfish. Just because he partied doesn't mean he's that way, but it could be. I don't know. So next we see Tienna going to the village that she worked at to become a teacher, I guess, because of her. I guess he wants to get some enlightenment with his life. Like I said in the beginning, he wants to find himself or something. He probably had an epiphany when, that whole accident happened with his heart and whatnot. He gets picked up by one of the people that worked at the village, but the car breaks down and he has to hoof it to the village. But unfortunately, because I guess his heart is not fully healed or it's new or whatever the case may be, he ends up having a hard time. And once he gets there, he meets face to face finally Chief Pooh. But he ends up fainting as a result of him being exhausted, and Pooh catches him in his arms, and Pooh seems to be kind of shook because he feels his girlfriend's energy. I don't know, but he looked kind of shook. Now at the end of the episode, we see Tienna waking up from, fainting, and Pooh being there saying like, "You're too delicate, you need to bounce and leave." And Tienna's like, "You know what, I'm gonna stay. Thank you so much for your concern, but I got this." And then hijinks ensue and he, starts a fire and all these things happen. And that is the end of the episode. Now, this episode, I want to say, is a strong start to the series. I'm really excited to see what happens. It seems like Tienna wants to find himself or find out who this girl is and why she does the things she does or why she's speaking to him. He's trying to find something. I don't think he knows what yet, but going here is going to help him. I think he thinks it's going to help him find those answers. He's a party boy. He's rich, privileged. So one would assume he's, a certain way, but I don't think he's that way fully. I mean, he did get smart with his parents and was being a brat, but I don't know if he's like a bad person or someone who is just rich and can't, is so detached from reality. But he is almost the opposite of homegirl. She grew up poor and she doesn't have much money, but she wants to, volunteer and help these kids out. And I want to know why, she decided to do this. Also, I want to know why or how the couple, Pooh and Torfan, got together and what's their dynamic is. And that's my review on the show. I really like that first episode. I can't wait to see what happens next week. If you guys have seen the episode, what are your thoughts on everything that happened in this episode? Like I said in the beginning, if you enjoyed this, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.